Okay, I've been sent another few knives to sharpen for one of the members of Poulo6.5. Here we have the Victorinox Swiss tool, one part serrated and one plain edge. We have a Victorinox chef's knife, an IKEA slit bar, that's the Namasteel version. This heavily recurved one here is a Nieto, the Spanish knife, the Deer Hunter with gut hook. This is a Muela Storm, kind of a full tang, micarta handled tactical hunting knife. Leatherman Wave, old favourite. The Opinel takes a great edge there. There's another type of an Opinel, or version of an Opinel. A large bread knife. We've an F-Dick butcher's knife. It's a boning knife, and a large carving knife. So I have the edge pro out again. So we're going to set some edges here. I'm going to set it up on. It's set up at 20 degrees per side to match the old sharp maker there. 20 degrees per side, that's the edge bevel setting with the brown rods. I'm going to use the corners of the triangular rods to try and get into these serrated parts and touch up inside those serrations. And the same on the Victorinox and the serrated blade on the Leatherman Wave. Alright, as you can see, the serrations on this are ground on one side and the back is flat. So if I use the sharp maker triangles on one side and then just very, very flat to the bevel on the back and debore off the back, and that should touch up the bevels on those fairly handily. So we'll see how that goes. Talk to you in a sec. I'm going to start here with the Deer Hunter. Hopefully I'll get all these done during the week. I'm on nights this week, so I'm kind of caught for time, and I have a labour court on Tuesday. But anyway, I'm after blacking up the blade of this one so we can see where the bevel is and where the stones are hitting. So I'm going to take a couple of strokes now at the 20 degree edge and see how that's going, see where we're hitting and where we're a bit flat. After giving it a few shots now either side with a 400 grit stone, and we're pretty much hitting the bevel, except, I don't know, can you really see here? Just up here there's sort of a little flat, and we're going to have to grind that out until we get down to that apex, that edge. And then we can start moving up through the grits and refining that edge. Okay, we're just finished with the medium fine 400 grit easy lap diamond stones. The edge is meeting nice and clean all the way along this curve now again. There's a slight flat still at the heel here. We'll have to do a little more work to try and grind that out. But the flat that was up on the belly here is gone. So we can start working up through the grits and polish that up. Okay, back in a sec. Okay, let's see, can I get this to show up here? To grind out the flat here, I've gone back to a 250 grit stone, where the rest of the blade was finished up to a 600 grit fine easy lap diamond finish. So I'm going to have to go back up over this section again. And like sometimes that happens, you'll have a chip or some kind of a flat that you'll only find when you get to a higher polish, or you'll have deeper scratches that you hadn't taken out at a finer grit, and you'll have to go back. You go back down the grits. There you can see the transition there. Go back down to the coarse grits and work back up again. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do now. Next step is the 400 grit medium, and then the fine, and then the 1200 grit easy lap extra fine, and a bit of a strop on a leather. Okay, there we go. Now I'm not sure you can see this, but it's not the sunniest today, but it's quite warm, and it's evaporating the water off my stones very quickly, so I'll have to wet them a lot more than I usually would to keep them cutting well. But other than that, this is going well. I'm up to the fine stone again, so I'm only going in one direction now, into the edge, to try and minimise the formation of a burr. Generally if I pull in this direction, it pulls steel forward over the edge, giving us a burr that we can feel on the opposite side. Going into the edge, I find tends to cut the burr off. If I need to cut the burr completely off, I'll pull it through a hard felt block, or the end grain of a piece of pine, a piece of scrap timber, or I'll use the ceramic rod, raise the angle slightly from what I'm sharpening at, and use that to cut the burr off. And then when we get up to the later stages of finish polishing, I try not to create a burr at all. So just a couple of times each side, try and prevent that burr being formed. Alright, just got finished with the 3M polishing tape. See that blue strip on the Edge Pro? It's used for polishing fibre optic connections and stuff like that. It's a micron abrasive, and down here again the long strider strop, and we have a nice shiny finish on the old skin and knife here. Okay, all the bevels are meeting nicely then. Give it a nice drop up. I'm not sure I can show this without cutting myself, but there you go. Okay, I think I'll do that big chef's knife next. Thanks for watching. Okay, I was sent a Leatherman tool to do as well, and on the serrated edge, and I don't really like sharpening serrations, but I've done it on this one. What had happened was a lot of the serrations, the bellies of them had folded over, it just rolled a little bit, whatever cutting had been done, and the serrations again on these are cut on one side only, and the other side is flat. So what I did was I got the marker, chisel tip marker, and black that whole bevel, and then go along with a half round file, little jeweller's file, and like sharpening a chainsaw, recut each tooth. On the bigger teeth you go wider up the file, or further up the file where it's wider. Make sure you remove all the black on the whole bevel, and just reform each tooth, recut each one all the way along. This will give you a burr on the back side, almost flat to the bevel, but not quite, just lift a tiny bit. And what I used was the DMT diafold, put that almost flat to the bevel and stroke into the edge again, and that just deburrs the back of the teeth and gives you a nice clean serrated edge again. I wouldn't try and hand cut each tooth altogether if they were too far gone, but when it's just a little bit of a fold over in the middle of each belly, it was no bother just to freshen up all the teeth. Little strop, and she's good to go again.